Hey everybody, it's Bander Terrell and I'm back again. I'm introducing a new product that I just put out today. It's called Move It. It is a building system for creating your own lazy rivers or any other kind of automated travel system like sim tours or balloon rides or uh, flying UFOs or magic carpets or anything that you want where you have an automated movement following a course. So I had a lazy river product and people were happy with it, but they said, this is just one course, but it doesn't really necessarily fit my lot. What if I want to create my own course? And do I have to use this river pool that I had created, or can I just put it on the ground and use uh, or linden water and just have it sitting out there and have a place for people to float around on existing water, or have it go all the way around my homestead or around my lot and just give people like a custom river. And so spent a lot of time and effort to build a system that lets you do that. And that's what this is. This is a way to create and build your own. I don't want to call it lazy river because it's so much more than a lazy river, and it's made for AVSitter. So you can actually put our scripts into any mod AVSitter furniture and turn it into a float ride, whether it's a chair or a balloon or a bed or whatever. It could be PG or adult, it doesn't matter, and all the animations are going to work, all of the features will work, but it's going to move and follow the course that you build with this course builder. So that's what this is all about. It's called Move It, and it is to create and build your own course. And to help you, I've added in several things. So when you res the box, you get a crate, and inside the crate you're going to get this example river course, which is this. It's the same one from my lazy river. I provided in here. It's basically um, just an example so that you have something to play with. You don't have to follow the river in this. You can design it to do whatever you want to. I'm going to show you how to do it really quickly. Uh, in fact, I'm not even going to use this river. I'm just going to show you how to do it with things on the ground. So we'll get started on that in just a second here. Because the principles are the same. You don't even have to use this course. So let's go ahead and we're going to move this. I'll just do it right here, but we'll just build a little tiny course here. This has a lot of curves, so you would need to create a fairly complicated course to go around all of these curves. So the first thing you do is, this is the controller. It looks like this. You can link other things to it. So if you have a dock or a base station or something you want to have like a sign, you can link them to this. Just make sure that this is the root prim. So you take the other things and link them to this so that this has to stay the root prim. And then this is what people click on to res a float to ride. This is what you click on to create your course. It's the same thing. So it is the controller for everything. And so when you click on it, you get this menu. And the menu has several options. Res float is the option to res a float, but don't do that yet because the course isn't set up, so it won't actually let you do it. But if users of the site, users of the solution, this is the only thing that they're going to get on their menu. The owner gets all of these different buttons, but the users who are not the owner only get res float. You have new course. That's to say, okay, I have a course in here, but I don't like it. I want to create a new one. And you do that from the beginning just to make sure that there's nothing carried over from a previous version or a previous course. So you would want to do new course. Save course is once you've laid out the course that you have to store it in permanent memory. We use a thing called link set data. And so when you're building the course, it's just storing it in memory. But to commit it to the permanent memory, you do save course. And then once you've done that, then the floats will actually work. Until you do save course, they won't work. So then you have add buoy. We call them buoys. They're waypoints. Waypoint was too big of a word, so and they sit in water if you're doing a river or a water course. So a buoy was the right term. But they don't have to go in water. They can go anywhere. They can go on land. They can go in the air. They can go in the water, on the water, under the water. It doesn't matter. And you can have, we tested it out with 93 of them, and it worked fine. It's limited only by the memory, and we tell you every time you add a new buoy, we tell you how much memory's left. So as you go through that, try to keep it so that you have 2,000 to 3,000 bytes of data left to be safe. The floats and everything use their own memory. It's not connected to the controller in any way. They're completely independent. And so that's another thing that makes it really good. So the floats and the controller are not connected really in any way. They communicate, but they're not really connected. Delete last is to delete the last buoy that you've added in case you added one too many, or if you just want to delete some. The only way you can delete them is to delete them one by one from the end. And it doesn't actually remove the buoys, so you have to actually physically remove the buoy too. I'll try and add that in a future version. I'll try to have it so that when you click this, it actually physically removes the buoy too. Hide buoys is what you do once you have your course working and set up. You want to get rid of the buoys. You don't want to see them anymore. You hit that and it deletes them. They're all gone. But if you made a mistake and you want to rebuild the course, you can hit show buoys and it will try to add them back. It may or may not work. It depends on what's going on. It's very susceptible to lag. So it'll try, but it might not be able to do it for a big course. So if that's the case, the best thing to do is just hit new course and start a new one. After you've saved your course and everything's stored to memory, the course will work. But what happens if you actually move your pole? Well, if you move the pole over here and you built the course when it was where I'm standing, all of the positions are going to be relative to where that pole was. So the course is going to continue to stay right where it was. And if you move the pole and you wanted the course to move, then you just click pole moved and it will update all of the positions of all of the waypoints to be relative to this new pole position. But if you don't want the course to move, you don't have to do that. Anyway, that's some of the advanced features, but the basic features we'll go through right now. So the first thing you want to do is hit new course. So that just in case this menu timed out, I'm going to click on it again. And we'll do new course. All right, and then we get a message that tells us that we've started a new course. It should be in nearby chat. Yep, it says, new course started, all buoys removed, free memory is 2846. And it also tells you how much of your link set data memory is available. And that's a lot. So you're never going to run out of that, but you may run out of script memory if you add a lot of buoys. All right, so then we're going to add a buoy. So click add buoy. The buoy is going to show up right here, resing at this start at the controller point. We made them with a highly visible red and yellow, and then a black band down the middle. And the black band down the middle is so you can line it with the water surface. So you want to put the surface of the water right in the middle of that black band if you want the floats to ride on the water. If you want them to be somewhere else, it doesn't matter, but that's why we put that here. So once it reses, they all will res here on the controller, and then you want to move it. And we're going to move it. It has to be within 10, the first one only. The rest of them doesn't matter, but the first one has to be within 10 meters of the controller because it's going to res all of your floats. And you can only res within 10 meters of the starting position of where the controller is. So you have to make sure that this is close by. So you want to put that controller close to where you have your start finish buoy. And it says start finish. So if you can, I don't know if you can see that text right there. It says start/finish for the first buoy. And then I try to center it here in the river somewhere. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you how to do this on the river, but I'm not going to lay out the whole thing. It'll take a while. So what I do is once I put the buoy where I want it and I have it at the right level in this water so that I don't have to keep moving every single one of them and adjusting every single one, I actually just copy the position of this. So hit C to copy it and then hit add buoy. It adds another buoy, shows up there. Click on that one and then do paste. And it pastes it to the exact spot this one is. And then you just move it. Try to keep it in the center of the river. And then you want them to be spaced out so that it can work its way around the curves. And You can put these pretty far apart, but the further they are, the more jittery it becomes because it splits the distance between the two waypoints and calculates a number of steps. And so if you keep them fairly close together, the steps are really, really small, so you're going to get a smooth animation. If you spread these things out really wide, then you're going to have bigger steps, and so the animation is going to be kind of jerky or jittery. So to have really smooth animation, you want to keep these things pretty close together. And anyway, to get around this curve, I need them to be about that far anyway. So then I'll just copy that position, add a buoy, paste it, and then move that one. Again, moving it about the same distance from the other one, just trying to keep them about the same distance. It doesn't really matter, but it just how smooth you want things. And then just keep doing that. Copy, add buoy, click on the new buoy, paste, and then move it. Trying to keep it centered. Copy, add buoy, paste. Where did the buoy go? Did I not do add buoy? This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Looks like I didn't do add buoy. And then we'll do paste. Make sure that says 4. Where did it go? I don't know what's going on. I don't know, something happened. It could be lag. Let me start over again. I'm going to hit new course, and we'll erase those, and we'll start a new one just to be safe. Add buoy. Second Life is quite glitchy. All right, so we'll copy that. Add a buoy. Paste. In fact, I don't want to do the whole course, so I'm just going to knock these out so you can get an idea. Paste. Copy. Add buoy. Paste. Copy. Add buoy. Paste. It's very simple. I mean, you just keep doing this until you get the course laid out exactly the way you want. Now, the floats are going to follow this in numerical order. So they're going to start at the start finish, and they're going to follow these around the way you put them. If I had gone the other way, it would go clockwise. Because I went this way, it's going to go counterclockwise. Copy. Add buoy. Paste. All right, that's enough. I'm going to have it come back over here. We'll be sneaky. But this shows you how you don't have to stay in the water, too. So we'll copy that one. Add buoy. This one I'm going to do paste, but I'm going to move it over here. Have it go up in the air. All right, so that's enough so you can get the idea. And we'll go ahead and hit save course to commit this and put it into our LSD memory so that it's ready and usable. Boom, save course. And it says course saved, buoys remain in place. So the buoys are still here just so you can see where they are. And so I can test this. Now I'm going to hit res float. And then pick the one I want. Let's do red tube. It's going to put it there at the start finish line. And I go ahead and sit on it. And it'll play the first animation, and I'll sit on it, and it'll start moving. And there it goes. Now I get my AVSitter menu, just the standard AVSitter menu, and I can pick different poses. So we'll do solo, and I'm going to do cheers because I want a beer. I'm drinking a beer as I'm going around the lazy river. And now if I had set this up with all of the waypoints all the way around here and put buoys all the way around, it would continue going. But since I only put them here, when it reaches buoy number 5, it's going to go up in the air to buoy waypoint number 6 and then go back down into the start finish line. Ta-da! Now, when I said I got this message that says you can control your speed and rotation using a chat command by saying commands on channel 98. So each time you res a new float, it's going to use a different channel. That way they don't interfere with each other. It's randomized, so it's possible that two could end up with the same number. It's only randomizing it to 100. But the likelihood is pretty small that two different floats are going to have the same chat channel. But if they do, the only problem is you might change the speed on somebody else's float or turn rotation on. So the command is /98 help to get the menu of, not a menu, but the list of things you can do. But right now we're just going to go ahead and type it in. So I'm going to do /98, and I'm going to say set speed to 3.0. And boom, it speeds up. You can set the speed to between 0.1 and 5.0, which for this small course, 5.0 would be incredibly fast. But let's slow it down to /98 set speed to 0.5, which is a nice leisurely pace for a lazy river. Okay, the other thing you can do is you can turn rotation on and off, and so the actual object will rotate around the z-axis. So if I do /98, rotate on, it'll slowly start spinning around as it's moving around. So it's moving in two different directions now. So it's moving around the course and it's rotating as we go. It's a slow rotation, so you can't change the speed of the rotation. But what I can do is I can change my pose at any time I want and pick a different pose. Okay, so that's basically how you create a course and how you use the course. Now, I don't want these buoys to be here because they're helpful for setting it up, but I don't want to keep them there when I'm running this. So I basically click on the pole and do hide buoys, and then they're gone. And now I have my lazy river working, and you can do it. So if someone else wants to ride, they can. This float actually seats two people, so someone could join me. Or someone could click on the pole and do res float and pick a different float and be riding the river at the same time. And since we can both be moving at different speeds, you can actually catch up and pass people, and you will go right through them. So there's no collision. It's not going to knock people out of the way. So you'll just go right past them. Okay, and then when I stand up, and if I'm the last person on here and I stand up, it actually deletes the float so that you won't have clutter and things laying around all the time. Now, I also will show you how you can do things if you want to do an aerial course. And so I don't provide these aerial floats with the system that you buy. I will be providing, because you can stick the scripts into any AVSitter furniture and turn it into a float, and that's all I did. I just took some other things that I had and I stuck the scripts in and made them into floats. You have to rename them so that the system will recognize them, but that's a simple thing. And so I actually put some different ones in here, but let's go ahead and do a flying course. And so this one's going to be a little different. So we'll go ahead and do, I did new course, now we're going to do add buoy. Now I want this one to start right here, but since these floats can be a little bit bigger, I want to raise this up so they don't stick into the ground. So we're going to start it about right there. And I'll go ahead and copy that position. We'll add another buoy, and I'm going to have this one go off that way and start getting higher and higher as we go. So copy, add buoy, paste. We'll move this one over a little bit more like so. And these are a little bit further apart, so they might be jittery. Now, here's another thing you can do. I didn't tell you this before, but while you're building this, you can move these buoys around all you want to, and it'll remember where you put them, so it automatically updates. So if you want to make them a little closer together and a little tighter, you can. And we'll just add another one, paste it here, move it up a little bit, move it back. Now we're going to try to make a little bit of a loop here. Add a buoy. Add buoy. Paste. Now I'm going to start bringing it around like so. I'm not going to do a huge one because It'll take forever. Copy. Add buoy. All right, so we'll put that one in place and move it down. And I'm going to start bringing it back down. Let's do one more. Pop that in here. Bring it down and bring it over. So it's going to start here. It's going to go up and around and come back down. It's not a very big course, but it's enough for you to see the way it works. All right, so we're going to hit save course. Now we're going to do res float, and we have different choices here. These don't come with the system, but I will be making them available at some point in some format. I think actually the steampunk one does, but I called it Nautilus. It's called PG Nautilus in the set that you get, but I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. So that's it. And sit here. This is actually a 4-person ride, so. And then it's just flying around. And if I want to, I can, there's a message here. This one says the chat channel is 72. So if I do /72, rotate on, this thing starts spinning too. As it works its way around. And that's basically it. So now when I stand up, since I'm the last one in here, it'll delete and I will go falling. Ah, boom. There we go. So there you go. That's how to build a kind of a lazy river course. This is an aerial course with like that. If you want to see it with a different ride, I can show you what it looks like with a different float. Let's do it with a hot air balloon. Hot air bed. There it is. Oops, see that one's kind of low, so it'll jump. Yeah. It all depends on where the root prim is in these things, right? So that's that. And so take some trial and error and you just play around with it and you'll figure out what's going on. Let's do another one. We'll do I have one called balloons, which is a chair suspended by balloons. Woohoo! I think the last one is what's it called? UFO. I created this yesterday. I thought it was cute. It's a UFO for 2 people. You actually fly around in it. And again, you can cause it to spin. You can do all kinds of stuff. I noticed there's a little glitch in here. I think I wasn't careful in how I did it, so it actually goes up, comes back down, and then keeps going. But that's the idea. So you can do courses as big as you want if you have the patience to lay out the entire thing. You can have it go all the way around your sim, come back. You can have it go in and out of water. You can have it go up into the sky. And you can do, as you see, I have 2 different ones here. So I have a course over there that does this. I have a course over here that does this. And you can build as many of these on your sim as you have memory and trims for. There's no real limitation. Anyway, I'm about to jump out of here as soon as it gets back over this little platform. Ding. Okay, so the system, it's $29.99. It's a set of scripts. You get the controller. You get 6 different colored PG inner tubes that have sits and cuddles for 2 people. And you get this particular river design, lazy river design, that you can use if you want to. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. And oops, make sure. Should probably not be moving things around. And you get the movement script. So let me show you how to do that too. So if I take a piece of I'll res a chair and show you what to do. All right, actually, I grabbed a rug so you can see what it looks like to do a rug, like a magic carpet. So this is actually an 8-person rug, so there's 8 different people that can fit on there. So you just have to rename it, and so you have to use a specific naming format. So the name is capital L, capital R, because I was going to call this thing Lazy River before I changed the name. So it's already scripted that way, so I left it. It's L, capital R, float, underscore, and then whatever you want to call this thing, and I called it rug. That's what's going to show up on the menu when people are selecting it. It's the thing after the underscore. So LR float is going to get ignored. So if you wanted to call this new rug or big rug or 8-person rug, you could put it in here. But whatever you put here is what's going to be in the menu for people to choose from. So you try to make it something obvious. And the first 11 characters are significant. So you can call it whatever you want to, but I'm going to call it rug. Okay. And then you just go to the contents and you get the scripts, which are the float movement and the float main, and the current version is 1.05 at the time of this video. So just take those two and drag them in to the root prim. Just make sure you drag them in the root prim, which is the yellow one, which is the one that's highlighted. So drag them in here and then pick it up, take, and it should go into my, right here, edit this and drag it in. And now, when I click on it and I go to res float, it should show up there as rug. There it is, rug. And I click it, and there's the rug. And I sit on it, and the rug starts moving. And if I want to look in my chat, it says the chat channel's 1, so I'll do chat 1/1, rotate on, and then the whole rug starts rotating. Woohoo! And if I want to make it go faster, I would do /1, sit, speed 2.0. Whee! And there it goes. Yaha! That's nauseatingly fast, so I would probably change that back to set speed 0.5. That's meters per second, by the way. And there we are. All right, that's how you do it. So you can take any AVSitter 2 object, whether it's mine or somebody else's, doesn't matter. As long as it's mod, change the name, drag in 2 scripts, pick it up, stick it in the controller, and you're ready to go. And that's it. So I'm going to post this video and link it to the product. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You can reach me in World. This is Bandor, and I will talk to you guys later.